Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to visit our friends the Yahyels that have been coming through for us. If you haven't seen the other two videos, go check it out. They have been coming to me and I have been remote viewing their spaceship that is in Earth's atmosphere and hovering around South Africa. So Eliana came to me and they're like, drop in once a week. We've got things to share. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So this week she just came through and she was saying that she wanted to show us something very specific about their spacecraft, and it's a technology that humans don't have. And it might be hard for us to conceptualize. So I'm excited for that. Some housekeeping first. If you want to join me on my Patreon, I have a community over there, and it's an amazing place where we have a live call each month, light language live call. There's a meditation for the month, a full energy update, a galactic channeled message, and I tap into people's Akashic records at the end of the month, members, and I answer questions. So if you're looking for a little community or looking to connect with my energy more, go ahead and go over to the Earth to Marissa Patreon. And then, of course, if you want to work one-on-one with me, you can visit earthtomarissa.com. So that's what I've got going on. March has been a beautiful month. Stay tuned for the April energy update coming very soon. And let's go ahead and tap in. And by the way, I'm a remote viewer. I just realized I should mention that. If you're new here, I am a remote viewer and I am remote viewing all of this. So I am, heading over astrally to the spacecraft, walking around on it, talking to the beings, and then sometimes I will either channel what they're saying or I will trans channel them. So if you're new here, hey. My eyes will be closed for most of this, so go about what you're doing and just soak it in through your ears. So Eliana is guiding me. She's here with us. She's like, hi everyone. We're here for another update. And she is guiding us, and I see we aren't in the ship yet, but we are like hovering right outside the ship, just looking at the outside, and she is pointing to this like shaft underneath the ship. I thought I had my drawing right here, but I don't. And it's this mechanism that she's telling me about. And this is what stabilizes the frequency of the ship and keeps it basically like out of sight. So this mechanism is something that allows the spacecraft to traverse different levels of reality or consciousness, and they have it set to the frequency of Earth right now. But Earth has, and this is what is very specific, Earth has multiple frequencies, and she's saying there's 7 main ones that we can traverse through, which is interesting because 7 chakras. But she's saying like there are, a lot of nuances, a lot of other levels, but there are 7 main levels, and we are actually sitting between there. Is it you that's sitting between or us that's sitting between? They're sitting between the levels 5 and 6 right now. And is this 5D 60? She's saying it's a little different than that. but they're sitting in a place where only very few humans right now are able to like actually see the craft. And this is because this mechanism actually has some resources from Earth in order to do this. So Earth resources are scattered around the universe, right? They've been mined for a long time, and so that's why Earth is so important. It's because there are these resources on the planet that allow you to hold multiple levels of frequency and then traverse those levels of frequency, and they are mirrored out into the universe. And so this mechanism, this shaft at the bottom of their ship holds these resources, and it's like a chemical interaction that they have with one another that allows them to traverse, expand, kind of shift and become malleable to the energetic layers of reality. Okay, and we're going in the ship now. Okay. So there are a lot more beings in the transport room as I enter, and they're kind of moving around frantically. And there's a lot more people, I think, pardon me, I yawn when I channel higher frequencies. So there are a lot more beings right now that are aboard the ship and that have been welcomed on to oversee, and they're saying it's related to what I received in the ocean call the other night. So if you don't know, my friend Kayla and Kyla, we do and host these ocean calls every month where we take a group of individuals down to these Atlantean oceanic healing pods. And on our monthly call the other night, we were there, and our guide, usually that comes through for that, was like frantic as heck, and she told us that there are essentially dark, super dark beings, dense beings, some that have taken human form, some that haven't and are just living on the planet but have caused the mass damage and destruction to the human collective as a whole. They are down there, and they have agreed on a soul level to essentially heal. And some of them are trying to leave the planet, and the white hats, like the light workers, are like, nope, you're not leaving until you fix what you've done, until you heal within yourself the fractures that you've created on the planet. And I'm seeing like beings that have been here for a millennia. And so they are down there, and there's a lot of security down there right now. There's a lot of government officials down there. There are many beings, and Eliana told me that they are also overseeing this and watching this very closely, which is why more beings are on the ship right now. And we're talking like some of these people are known around the world, and they are getting healed. Essentially, right now they are working on healing on a soul level and returning to the whole within them. And they showed me, like, as they heal, these lines of destruction, these collective wounds, these collective traumas are also going to collapse and heal. So, Eliana, do you have any more to say about this? She said, you've covered most of it, but I will add one thing. There is a contract that some of these beings signed that they knew. They have stayed on the planet for so long because they've known that they had to undo what it was before leaving. And a lot of them didn't want to even face that. And so they have continued to, they've basically been trapped here. They've been trapped here, and they've continued to play in their schemes and in their games and in the corruption. And the frequency on the planet is so high vibrational now and continuing to rise that a lot of them, like, are physically really moving through it. They are physically being, like, she's saying, like, shredded by some of this frequency that's coming in, the solar flares, even the shift that Mother Gaia is going through, the transformation. And so a lot of them are actually, like, searching out the white hats, and they're like, I'm ready, like, I can't take this anymore, essentially. And there are some that are very stubborn, and they are still, like, gung-ho. They haven't surrendered yet. But the ones that have surrendered and are actually ready to leave the planet, they have to. It was a contract that was signed forever ago, because if they were to leave the planet, they wouldn't, like, eventually they would have had to face what they were doing, the mass corruption, the distortion, like, everything. Eventually they would have had to. But I'm getting that the Galactic Federation actually came down at one point, because they were like, okay, this has gone too far. We will either give you an out right now, or you're going to be trapped here until you fix your mess, basically. And so now finally, and there are other contracts at play, which is why the Galactic Federation, like, left these beings. It's kind of that non-intervention is what she's saying, law of the universe. But now they're having a really hard time staying present, staying in the darkness, staying in their ways, just because things are shifting rapidly. And so the Yahyels right now are actually studying, and this is their relation. So they are studying the contracts that fall away through the healing with these ocean pods, but also with the human body. So she's saying they have similar technology for healing, but they wanted to observe, and I see some of them are actually down there observing and then transmitting, like, information back up. And that's why there's so many, like, scientists, like, again, any information that enters the ship comes into this, like, transport room. And so that's why it's so busy, and there's so many people here, and then they're taking that information and going elsewhere on the ship. And she's saying they want to observe it because their role, when they touch base with humanity, a lot of them are going to focus on this physical healing aspect. So some of these beings essentially are the birthplace of thousands of human trauma and human ailments of the body. So cancer, for example, that she's saying like the energy of that experience is due to the vast ancestral trauma that these groups have created. And by healing that trauma through the oppressor, like the oppressor healing that within them, again, it like collapsed down the line. And these ailments will eventually cease to exist because the corruption on the planet through these individualized beings that are fronting as humans, essentially, will also be leaving the planet. Wow, my voice is... They will also be leaving the planet. And so they're studying how there are certain... So they're working with like sound healing. They're working with like actual like probing devices. They're working on like memory implants is what I get. They're also working with like what we would call like spinal fluid. And all of these modalities that they're using on these beings are things that the Yahyels also have and interact with. And by seeing it done on such a dense, essentially like being, and a dense like collective imprint, they are able to understand then how the Yahyels, how they can interact with the humans like once they come, and just assist in the further development of this healing of these wounds and of this energy. Okay, so through this healing, and I got this visual down at the pods the other night, but she's showing me on the map that they have of Earth. She's showing me the parts of the Earth that are going to be feeling these like the downfall of these energies first. And it's the same area in mountain range. They wanted to target the beings that had created the damage to Earth's immune system first and foremost. And some of these beings like naturally came forward because they're the ones that are struggling so much with these higher vibrational frequencies. But they are working on, and I feel like there are like maybe like 15 entity beings that are being worked on. Anyways, and their pods, she's showing me, their pods are actually plugged into energetically certain places on the globe where their destruction has been felt drastically. Some of them I see like Southern California, they're connected to that. Some of them I see like Colombia, also down at the tip of South America, geography escapes me, so I'm not sure what country that is. I see also potentially Paris, moving to Italy, moving to the Middle East. I see like the whatever big city is like north, not fully north, but like north-ish east, China. I don't see any Russia points. And then there are certain points in the ocean as well. And then, of course, Africa. Egypt. Egypt through, jutting like through the point on Africa where it rounds out, kind of comes in, there's like a little gulf, and then it like shoots down, going through whatever that region is. I'm sorry again. Is that the desert? Yeah, okay. Geography, guys. Whew. American schools, bad. Okay. So, yeah, so on the map, she's showing me that these are the places that will really feel it first, and these also are the places that will be collapsing first. And this is really interesting because she's saying like the collapse of Hollywood is coming, and that's because one of these beings down there is very, very connected to the toxicity, the trauma, even the child like sex and trauma that has to do with show business and Hollywood. A lot, like the illusions, the programs put out through TV and media and content, like a lot of that is going to be collapsing, and it's all connected. Multiple beings or just this one being? This one being primarily, which is crazy that one being can hold all of that. And like she's saying like, yeah, like we're working with like galactic, these are not humans. Okay, like yes, we know some of these by their human bodies, they are not human. And that's also why there's so much security down there right now, and like overview and overseeing. And she say that the human body that they front as will also be healed. So and the soul, okay, so these are not human skins that they're wearing. And she's saying this, she wants to be really clear, these are human individuals that they have access to. And this being, it's not just, this is interesting, it's not just one human that they have access to. So some of these individuals, there's like the being, the galactic being has access to six powerful people, and they jump between these humans. And so when they are not present in the human is the human that agreed to this. And so through this healing too, this is why it's also a very interesting way of healing right now, and why the Yahyels are observing. They want to observe this, essentially this agreement that the humans and these galactic beings have made in order to then be able to like shapeshift into these humans. And are you going to share what galactic beings specifically do this? Okay, so I don't think it's just like a lot of you watching might be like, it's all reptilians. It's not. So there are actually like 5 different races of galactic beings that have the ability to do this. It's just like the reptilian is what we see most, and that's who comes forward most. But this particular Hollywood entity, and she's just using this one as an example because it's easy for us to understand. I don't think this one is it's a different galactic being, and it's ones that have been really like hiding from human awareness, and they've done a really good job at that. I feel like they are similar to reptilians, but they actually aren't. And so the Yahyels are studying right now the agreements that took place, how they're able to do this through the human body. And she's saying that humans are so multidimensional, and because of our hybrid DNA, she's saying that, like, in some places of the universe, it's very uncommon to be able to do, like, this is kind of like an earth phenomenon, is what she's saying. And it's due to the like brainwashing that humans have received, but also due to the multiple like hybrid genome DNA structures that we hold, where this is possible for beings to take advantage of humans in this way. And that's like why this started. Like, one figured out they could do it, and now it's been happening for centuries on centuries. And so she's showing that, again, this one massive entity has access to like 6, oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Wow, lots of yawning, lots of everything. So back to originally what she was saying is that this large being that's being worked on has been acting through these like 6 or 7 individuals, and these humans, their souls are now also able to rest and heal, and these contracts will be dropping. And this can also change the way these people look, the art that they make. This can change because essentially they are moving through an agreement where this is cutting the ties. This is cutting the ties. This being has basically like released it all, and they're saying, okay, like, we're done here. And so you might see some of these humans that have been connected are going to go into solitude for a while to heal, but some of them in the future will be coming forward and talking about their experience and what it was like for them. But they are going to change probably pretty drastically because they have been forced to be something that they are not, based on the tie and contracts that they had signed for this being. And it's interesting. I feel like some other beings, so this is why they're going into solitude. It's essentially because some of these other galactic beings are angry. They are upset. They are, acting out. And so we might see just these false attacks towards these other, celebrities or people in the spotlight. The ones that are getting falsely attacked are, I think, the ones that she's saying are being like disconnected, and then they're gonna get quiet and they're gonna go away for a little bit. But this is out of like protection, safety, healing, and they have agreed for light workers to just assist them. And I feel like it's gonna be a while that these beings are in these healing pods. I I got potentially like months. So we'll be checking back in on them. Okay, Eliana's like, okay, now to a lighter topic. Let's go to the library. Okay. Okay. So we're in the library, and I see this young group of, kids from like maybe 9 to 15. She's walking me over to them, and we're having some dialogue. These are the humans that will be gearing up to land on the planet and interact with your race. They are preparing every day and have very strong human hybrid DNA so that it is less shocking for those of you on the planet who interact with them. But they do hold Yahyel. I even get some Sessani energy, some gray energy, and I get yeah, like just multiple makeups, but primarily like Sessani beings. And why are these Sessani beings on the Yahyel ship, Eliana? So they are actually spread out amongst multiple ships and spacecraft in Earth's atmosphere to get used to the density, but also each group that is spread across these spacecrafts is going to be working in a different field, essentially going to be helping humans with a different scenario. Again, the Yahyel are helping these Sessani kids learn how to interact with the plant life on the earth. And so a lot of these people, or these kids, are learning how to grow food. They're learning the agriculture. They're working with solutions for issues on the planet. And so a lot of these groups have been studying the problems that you all face on your planet. Let's say plastic, even oil. They're showing like water pollution. This group really focuses on like the food and agriculture, but also like the healing through food and plants, and like the physical, and this is interesting, digestive tract, and because a lot of ailments start in the heart and digestive tract, and that's why these places have been heavily targeted. And so this is also interesting because in my Patreon light language call this past one in March, we did a gut activation, like a light language gut healing and cleanse. So again, if you're a free member and want to check that out, it's $3.33 to tune in. If you are a paying member, then it's free. So, wow. Okay. And so, yeah, they're showing me, these kids are showing me like what they're studying, and the solutions that they are creating. Wow. Okay. So some of these beings have created seeds, and they're saying like they're actually channeling this information down to those who are open to receive it. Oh my gosh. They're showing me this girl that I literally was on Instagram. I just saw this girl, and she has just created a seed that needs like far less water and can be grown in arid places of the world, and these humans are actually channeling and interacting, whether they know it or not, interacting with these Sessani beings, and it will come further into their awareness. But they are Sessani beings. They are hybrid children. And again, some of them don't know this, but they literally are Sessani beings that were studying this and then came down and are able, like, an aspect of them is still able to communicate for these solutions. So if you have any kids right now, or you're witnessing like a young, I get that, like, they're still pretty young, capping at maybe like 22, 25. These are actually Sessani kids that are already on the planet. They're already here. And they are a little neurodivergent. They have a harder time digesting things on the planet. And they have prepared for this, but this is just so you can maybe see it. And I would say, yeah, I mean, they're just showing me, like, in the United States, there's maybe like 100 of these kids right now. And they came in at this time to assist in the awakening, but also they're going to start having these remembrances. They're going to start realizing and waking up, like, I feel like most of them within this year or next, and then they will also be first ones who are contacted because they are of this race, and they are so close to humans, just like a little off, a bit off, and that's why they seem off to some humans. But they are just Sessani beings that are learning. Beautiful. And I'm saying thank you to all of these beautiful kiddos. Oh, one of them just came up to me and they were saying that they're about to drop in, and like transport to the US. And some of these are like, it might be like a soul swap, or it's like they are just arriving and kind of dropping in, and there are families that, like, you know, might adopt or like planted for them, and have agreed. But he was showing me he was a little nervous, and I gave him a hug, and I'm like, you're gonna do amazing, it's gonna be great. And so we're just conversing right now. He's showing me that we will interact at some point. It's beautiful. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're back in the transport room, and Eliana is saying to you all, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support in this awakening. We need every one of you, and we will be seeing you very soon. Welcome us into your dreams, and we will assist you. Okay, coming back. Okay, and part of me has stayed up there. They had some other things that they wanted to communicate to me off camera, so I'm receiving that right now. But thank you so much for watching. Comment below any questions, any things that you receive, anything. Let's start a dialogue on this, because I feel like that was a lot of information. And again, it's 41 minutes. That felt like 15. That's crazy. So thanks for watching this. If you've made it all the way through, I'm grateful for you, and grateful for these beautiful beings that are assisting humanity. Much love, and I will catch you in the next video.